Yo, what's good? We back at it. It's your boy Sid with another video. We're here to follow through with the Venus sign series, and we're here to talk about Venus when it comes to Aquarius, right? And what this means for those of you who have this placement. So, before we start though, I do want to ask you guys to like. I want to ask you guys to subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and also to comment below. And you can share this video or any of my other videos with anybody that you know who's also into astrology, and it would be kindly appreciated, and we give thanks, right? So what I now want to talk about is what Venus actually represents in astrology, right? So Venus, what it's going to represent is similar to what the signs that it actually rules over and what they represent. So Venus rules over the signs of Taurus and Libra. So Taurus is the sign of money, finance, stability, right? And Libra is the sign of relationships, basically. So via Venus placement, right, when it comes to Aquarius, it would actually show us similar things to how you make money, which is what Taurus represents, right? And it actually will show us your love language, how you relate to others, what you attract, right? Which is the Libra side. That's what Venus will show. So if we want to continue, right, and we want to talk about what Venus will actually show us in the chart, it's going to show you kind of similar to the Libra aspect, how you relate to others. It's also going to show your love language, but you want to compare this with what's going on in your seventh house. The seventh house is a Libra house. So whatever planets you have in the seventh house and the sign that's on the cusp of the seventh house will also show how you relate to others, you know what I mean? Kind of what you attract to, basically, and how you show up in your relationships, your love language, things of that nature, right? There's always a multitude of areas that you have to compare in your birth chart because you're more than just a planet through a sign, through a house, basically. And, you know, there's a multiple things you got to factor in, basically. Aspects, all that, you know what I mean? Rulerships. So, in terms of what else the Venus placement shows, it would actually show what you value and the value that you can bring to the table, right? Now, it's also going to show how you can make money, right? And you want to compare this with your second house. The second house is a Taurus house. So in terms of Venus coming through Aquarius, this will say one thing, but then also look at the second house by the sign that's on the cusp, and also if you have any planets in that second house, that would tell more about possible ways you can make money. I did a video on occupations associated with each of the signs, and I'll link it right here. And in that video, I show you more on possible ways you can make money by occupations, you know what I mean, things of that nature. So you can go watch that video as an example. Now for my fellas out there, right? Venus is a feminine planet. It rules over women, you know, and it rules over the ideal wife archetype. So it's going to show the ideal wife archetype that you need. And again, this is for my fellas out there. Now, I did a video on day versus nighttime charts, and it's only for those of you who have nighttime charts. Your Venus by house that is deposited into will show where you have possible blessings at, right? If you don't know what the houses mean as well too, in terms of where your Venus is at, I did a video on what each house represents in astrology. I'll link right here, and this could tell more, right? So let's jump back up to the top, right? Back to how you relate to others and your love language. When Venus comes through the sign of Aquarius, right? Aquarius is ruled by Saturn traditionally, and the more modern ruler is Uranus. So, if you know anything about Aquarius, Aquarius is a very progressive type of sign. It's very much about the future, the new, basically. Capricorn also deals with the old, but again, Aquarius is the new. It's a sign that definitely can be a bit aloof and detached, so you may find that at times you may come off this way. It's also a sign that deals with freedom, right? Sagittarius is also a sign that deals with freedom, but Aquarius is definitely one that, you know, yeah, just needs this freedom, as it can again be detached and aloof and a bit distant. So this would be kind of how you are in your relationships, basically. You need someone who is not always up on you. Now, if you happen to have your Venus or say like Mars and maybe the 4th, the 8th, or the 12th house, which are water houses, hidden houses, then this can change the dynamic to where you still need deeper connections. But just in general, you guys can be a bit more detached and need freedom, right? Another thing to think about is that Aquarius, we consider like the aliens of the zodiac. They come off a bit, you know, different, basically, very weird, a bit eccentric, basically. They're very unique, right? Aquarius wouldn't be the type that's gonna do what everybody else is doing. So In terms of your relationships, right, you need someone who's unique. If, say, for my women out there, if you have 10 guys that you're interested in and 9 of them are doctors, then you probably want the 10th one who's a artist. You know what I mean? Or if it's 9 artists, then you probably want the one who's a doctor. You need something different, basically, right? So yeah, just keep that in mind. You know what I mean? Your partners need to know that you need, a bit of space, though. I will definitely say that when you have this placement. Now, Aquarius is a sign of homosexuality, and that's because it's ruled by one of the androgynous planets, Uranus. So some of you, not everybody, but some people will be into open relationships, will be homosexual or bisexual, basically. It's more about freedom, like I said. It's more about freedom with this placement. So just keep that in mind. Now, that's not always going to be the case, though. If you have your Venus and Aquarius coming through, say the 4th, the 8th, or the 12th house, this can change things. Or if you have maybe water signs on the 8th house, basically, or the 7th house, this can change things. You know what I mean? So it's a variety of things that you have to factor in. But some of you guys with this placement, this will resonate with you. So yeah, let's talk about what you value and what you love. Aquarius is very innovative, a bit of very much about the future. It's about progress. So you value and you love, which is what Venus, the keywords of Venus is value and love. So you value to progress, basically. Now, another thing is you can look in the house, right? And that would tell you where you value or love to progress at, basically, right? By keywords. I did, like I said, a video on what each house in astrology represents. And that would tell more about by house an area of life to where you value progressing at. So just keep that in mind. Since you guys are very progressive, a lot of times Aquarius has a certain level of genius, basically, that isn't necessarily yet accepted by the masses, right? So this is why you guys can be ahead of your time, basically, and known as the aliens of the zodiac. You may feel like you don't fit in at times, right? But the reason you guys may feel like you don't fit in is because you are here to progress society. Aquarius is also known as the humanitarian of the zodiac. So, these can be kind of the role that you're playing, basically, So just keep that in mind. In terms of the value you can bring to the table, that would be basically your genius, your innovativeness, your quirky, your unique side, basically. These are sides of yourself that everybody doesn't have, you know what I mean? Aquarius can be a bit rebellious, so y'all go against the grain, basically. Now, how you can make money. Aquarius rules over philanthropy, humanitarianistic efforts. So possible themes of this, right? It rules over science and technology. So actually astrology can fall under this because astrology is a science, right? Another thing it rules over is the airways. So you'll see like pilots, flight attendants, stewardess, things of that nature. People who travel to make money, since it rules over the airways, right? It can rule over radios, TVs, things of that nature. So maybe electricians of TVs, just electricians in general, basically. You know what I mean? Can fall into this energy. You'll see, again, scientists. You'll see people who are inventors, right? That's one of the things that can show up in this energy. It's other things that show up too. Again, I did a video on occupations associated with each sign, and I show you more, you know what I mean, ways that you can make money or possible occupations you're drawn to. So go watch that video. But these are just some examples. Again, look at your second house, right? Any planets that's there, the sign that's on the cusp will tell more. So just keep that in mind. Now, in terms of the ideal wife archetype for my fellas out there, I did say that some of you guys may be more open in your relationships, into so-called alternative lifestyles, but you got to think about it. We're in the age of Aquarius, so what so-called would have been weird or not accepted by society is the norm now, and that's why you see homosexuality, more open relationships being more prevalent, because we're in the age of Aquarius according to astrology. But just in general, you need someone who's a bit aloof, a bit distant, kind of detached. It's not like you have your Venus coming through, again, water houses or water signs, so where this would make you have you need emotional depth, basically, in your relationships. But you need someone, again, who's even very smart, very different. Like I said, you don't want someone who is like everybody else, basically. Now, I did a video on keywords associated with each zodiac signs, and what I want the fellas to do is look to see what house your Venus is deposited into, right? And this will show you by house other qualities in terms of keywords that you need in terms of a wife archetype. So if your Venus is in the first house, this is an Aries house, you'll need a Venus through Aquarius slash Aries woman. If it's in the second house, this is Taurus because it's a Taurus house. Third will be Gemini. Fourth is Cancer. Fifth is Leo. Sixth is Virgo. Seventh is Libra. Eighth is Scorpio. Ninth is Sagittarius. 10th is Capricorn. 11th is double down on Aquarius energy, as this is an Aquarius house. And the 12th will be Pisces, right? So go again, watch that video, which I'll link basically. Keywords associated with each zodiac sign, to find out more about the qualities or by keywords basically that you'll need in a woman, for my fellas out there, right? And last but not least, if you have a nighttime chart, like I stated, you can look into the houses deposited into. Again, I'll leave the link to the video, and this will show you where you may possibly have strengths and weaknesses basically in your chart, right? This will show that. So that's about it, you know. In that video also too, excuse me, I meant to say I show you how wherever Libra and Taurus is at, in terms of the house that they're on, this will show you more where you may be more prone to having blessings basically. Everything is not going to be like that for everybody, because again, there's numerous factors in the chart, but just keep that in mind. Anyways, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all have a great day, and we got more videos coming soon. Peace.